Hey guys, welcome to the new playlist on Breaking Browder Farm tool reviews and how-tos. This playlist on the channel will consist of tool reviews of the hundreds of tools that I have, ranging from home improvement tools to mechanic tools, and also include how-to videos, DIY videos, working on your house, working around the farm, working on vehicles, or farm equipment, things like that. A little bit of background about myself. I was in the construction industry for a couple years. I obtained a lot of home improvement type tools, and I have since transferred into diesel mechanic industry. So I have all kind of tools. So for our first tool review, I have a DeWalt 12-inch sliding compound miter saw with a stand. These are sold separately. I've had this saw for 5 or 6 years now, so it has definitely been put to the test. Most of the tools I will put on here have been through it, and they have come out on top, and they're still going. So anything I review will be tested thoroughly. A little bit more about this saw. This is your sliding lock right here. So it allows you to go back and forth. It's very smooth. Even with it being dirty, it is really smooth. And when you're wanting to transport, you can just lock that back. So right here, this little pin right here is your up and down lock. Again, for transporting, you want to keep both locks locked. That way it's not bouncing around and breaking anything. It has 2 guide plates. These are also adjustable for whatever you're cutting. Your bevel lock. You got 0 and 45 degrees. Just make sure if you're going way over here, you want to get your fence out of the way, or you will cut it, and that's from experience. And then we can just lock that back in place. Back on 0. And right here on both sides, you have a guide arrow, so you know what angle you're cutting at. If you have a popular angle that you want to stop at on the bevel, you can do a 22.5 or a 33. You can use that stop to hold you in position and lock that in. And that way you know you're at the right angle. And for the left and right movements, this is your release, and this is your arrow for left and right. So you just grab your lock, push it down, turn it, and it's smooth as well, even though it's really dirty. I try not to keep them dirty like this. But so this will lock into place at a very commonly used angle. But say you've got a weird angle, 15 degrees, it's not going to lock. So you can push that down and it'll lock it in place for you. And just lift back up and go back to 0. And it's a pretty sturdy lock. Now this guy right here will keep that lock down and not engage. So if you want to make if you got to move back and forth between cuts really quick and they don't have to be real precise, you can just swing this back and forth with that lock disengaged and just pop it back down. Clips on to the base, or to the stand I should say, with 2 levers, one on each side. It's kind of simple to remove and replace the blade. Always make sure that you unplug it before you replace the blade. Anything can happen. It comes with its own all-in-one tool. It's just a little star bit on one side and a hex head on the other. So we're going to bring it over here. Lock that blade in place. Right there is your lock. And you just want to spin it until it pushes all the way in. You want to take this screw with your star head on it, push that up out of the way. Can be a little bit, got to get it out far enough past this little indention right here so it can squeak by the head of the bolt. You're just going to push that up out of the way. Alright, so now we have our lock on the other side. It's engaged. Now it says loosen. So this is a reverse thread bolt. It's that simple. Take your bolt out, take your collar out, and replace your blade. And then tighten it back up. Remember, reverse thread, not too tight. Bring your guard back down. Tighten that up, good and tight, nothing too crazy. And put your tool back in its holder so you don't lose it, and then you got to have 2 separate tools to do one job. So we'll give you a little demonstration on how well this thing cuts. We'll plug her back in. And also this has a bag on it if you're cutting indoors. I'm cutting outdoors almost all the time, so I just let it fly. But it does come with a bag in case you're cutting indoors. Like butter, and that's a pretty dull blade because I've been cutting laminate flooring with it. But it's a pretty smooth cut depending on how many teeth you get on your blade. So about 5 or 6 years ago, this saw cost me around $700 at Home Depot, and the stand cost me about $200 as well at Home Depot. Just a few more things, little cool things about this saw. And I don't know everything about this saw. I just, make whatever cuts I need, but there's all kind of adjustments you can make with this saw. One thing that is cool, if you're burning the midnight oil, trying to make your wife happy, it's got a light on it. So if you don't have much lighting, you can still work at night and make good cuts. And lastly about the saw, for whatever reason you have to slide this on the stand right here, You can loosen up these Phillips head bolts and slide this front and back on these yellow stands that clip to the stand itself. Now for the saw stand. It's a really cool stand. It has two arms on it that extend out, so you're cutting that 12, 16 foot piece of crown molding or baseboard or shoe molding. You could definitely handle it on this saw. It's got movable rails on it, so you can adjust it to whatever you need to cut. It's real easy to use. It is a little bulky, but it's fairly simple and it gets the job done. They do have a portable saw stand. It doesn't have the length and the arms like this one does, but for portability, it is the best option. And I wish I did have that one as well, just from rolling from job site to job site on and off the trailer. I could have just left the saw on the rolling stand, but this one is ideal for working with long pieces of material. So there's a handle underneath. Lean it forward and let it flip. That was smooth right there. Grab each lock, one on each leg, fold it down, and they lock into place, and that's it. You're ready to go to the next job. Make sure you watch our other YouTube videos on the channel so you can see these tools in more action. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, and have a good night.